Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is Amy from With Love by Amy, and today is week 4, I think, of the Work With What You Have card challenge. It's started on Instagram, and then she added people that were doing YouTube to it as well. So if you hop on over to my Instagram, there's a list of all the creators, even ones that don't do YouTube. And so we are going to use this stamp set from Stampin' Up. It's very old, and we are going to kind of make an alternating pattern with these two colors of Catherine Pooler ink. And I love my Catherine Pooler inks. They're so juicy. And I am using stamp blocks for this because I just figured with the repeating pattern, it might be easier to do stamp blocks than to use the MISTI. And I am using 2 different stamp blocks. For your viewing pleasure, I did cut out a whole bunch of the stamping because, I didn't figure anybody really wanted to watch me stamp this same exact thing 12 times over. But because I was using the stamp blocks, even though I knew that my ink pads were nice and juicy because I recently re-inked them, I did kind of just let them hang out for a little bit with a block on them so that I could make sure that all the ink transferred nicely. And it did. Mostly probably because my ink pads were juicy. And you can't really see it on camera, but every time I inked it up, I did look at it to make sure that I felt like it had good enough coverage with the ink. And it turned out really well in the end after I stamped the alternating pattern with alternating colors. And yeah, so I'm obsessively looking at the stamps to make sure that they have enough ink on them every time I do it. And yeah, it's kind of slow because of how long I left the stamps sitting in that location. But then I got a second block and I started just, alternating spots with different colors to speed it up a little bit because I don't like it to take forever when I'm crafting. And obviously, nobody wants to watch a video that's very repetitive. And so we're just going to do opposite colors, opposite designs until we get to the end. And here we go. I cut out all the rest of the stamping footage for you. And like you can see there, I'm just letting the stamp sit there for a minute so I can make sure it gets good coverage. And the designs didn't really, they didn't cover up the whole A2 size card panel. So I am going to trim that down. But I think it got beautiful coverage. I'm going to put my stamps away after I wash them off. And we're going to use this Simon Says stamp Big Hugs die. I've not used it before. I got it as a promo thing and something I ordered at Christmas time maybe. And we're going to die cut it out with this Erin Lee Creative black, I don't know, black shiny cardstock. I don't know what it's called. Maybe that's what it's called. I don't know. But we cut it out with that. And then for some reason, I didn't put any footage in here of the layers that I put behind it. So I die cut it in black, and then I decided that I didn't really like how plain it looked on the card, just being in black, like a single layer. So I did, off camera, apparently, die cut 4 different layers of yellows and oranges that were kind of coordinating with the colors of the inks that I used. And I thought that they all looked good together, but there I am trimming the panel down so that the stamps, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I must keep bumping into the camera stand while I'm doing this. But yeah, you can't really see it. I think there's a clip coming up here in a second where I show the side view of the die cuts. And yes, I did layer all 4 colors, or actually 5, because there was 4 different yellows and 4 different orange and yellows, and then the black. So it was 5 different layers of cardstock. And I did the tittle for the eye too. So here we are, just gluing it down. I will say that I love the fine tip glue bottle. I bought a whole bunch of them for other things as well, but I have yet to load them up with stuff yet. And I know that the panel is a little bit smaller than an A2 size card, so that's kind of why I'm letting that swoopy thing from the bee off the edge, because I know that there will be space when I put it on my card base. So Yep, here we go. All right, here is the slow motion view of, see, you can see the orange and the yellow. And I did make sure that I put both of the colors on both words in the same order. And we're just going to glue it down. And then, of course, I didn't think it was pretty enough. So I got, I don't know, it's like clear sparkly Nuvo drops. I should be better at knowing the names of things. Sometimes I feel like I'm really on my game with that, with knowing all the names of the things that I use, and then sometimes I am rather off my game. But yes, that's the clear one with some sparkles in it, and I just did it on the center of each of the shape thingamajiggers. I don't know, medallions. I don't know what they are. And then I do tap the cardstock down to make sure that they're not pointy, and it did work pretty well. I've heard too that if you warm up the Nuvo drops, like if you put them in, you know, between your hands and rub them back and forth or something for a little while, that will help it to turn into little good drops. I didn't have time for that, but here we are a while later. I decided to put it on the card base, and yet again, it's not sparkly enough for me. So I have some silver glitter cardstock, and I'm going to cut teeny tiny strips that will fit right along the edge of the card panel, and I'm trimming them to be the right length, and then I'm going to glue them on the top and the bottom of the card panel, because, you know, you can never have enough sparkle or enough glam to a card. So that's what I'm doing here, gluing them in place. I'm going to glue the card panel onto the card base first so that I know exactly where to put them, and I'm not going to mess that part up. I don't really wait that long after I put the card panel on the card base to put the silver strips on or anything. I feel like it's good enough. It's not gonna move, and I have the magnets for my Make Art station there, so I can magnet it all down, so I don't have to worry about movement too much. But we're gonna put one on the bottom of the panel, and then the other one will go on the top of the panel. The whole time I was doing this, my cat was behind me, jumping against the wall. There was like some string or something on the wall, like hung up there, and he was jumping and trying to grab it, and jumping and trying to grab it. But then, of course, when I turned around with my camera in hand, he stopped. All right, so here's the finished product. Here's a good side view of it. I love that, the layers, the colorful layers. So let me know what you think of it in the comments below. And here's some other videos that you may enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you back here soon. Have a great day.